In this video, I want to talk to you about 5 stretches that you could be doing to help your lower back pain all from one position. Thanks for checking out the channel. My name's John. I'm the head therapist here at John W Sports Injury, and we want to help you to understand your body, to reduce any pain in order to achieve your goals. So if you think this is the type of content that is going to help you out, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And do me one more favour. If you're enjoying the content as we make our way through the video, hit that like button below, because that helps me to know that this is the type of stuff that you're looking for. But what I want to do now is to show you 5 different stretches that I love to do to help with lower back pain. And the best thing is, it's all from one position. But in order to do that, you're going to need to join me on the floor. So here's the position that I like to work from, because we can encompass so many stretches as a variation of this theme. One thing I would say before we start, if you're somebody who suffers with sore knees, particularly if you're working onto hard floors, feel free to place something like a pillow or a cushion underneath this base knee, because that would make it more comfortable for you. And another thing that we need to talk about is that if stretching is going to help your pain, we need to probably know in that you're actually tight or have a lack of flexibility in the area first of all. So hang on to the end of the video, because I'll be explaining to you how you can be assessing your own flexibility at the end of this video. But what I want to do is go through the 5 stretches from this position, what we're stretching, and why that will be helping your lower back pain. So firstly, by placing this foot out in front of us, we can stretch our hamstring muscle. This is the muscle at the back of our leg. And remember, for all of these stretches, we want to be holding them for 30 seconds. Why is this a good stretch for our lower back pain? Well, tight hamstrings are a huge cause of lower back pain. They attach onto the back of our pelvis, into our sitting bones, or what we call our ischial tuberosities. Now, why is that a problem if they're tight? Because then they start to pull on the back of my pelvis, tilt that pelvis backwards and cause pressure into my lower back. So freeing up this hamstring with this stretch will be putting less pressure onto my lower back. So we hold this stretch for 30 seconds. Keep our toe nice and straight, and what I look to do is slowly flex my hips forwards to the point where I feel the stretch. Now, with all these stretches, we don't want to be coming on to the point of pain. We don't want to be trying to really excessively stretch and reach, and we certainly don't want to be bouncing. Slowly start from an upright position, flex forward until you feel those fibers start to pull lightly. Hold that for 30 seconds. There, I stretch my right hamstring. Then I can simply take the leg out to the side. And do the same thing. Slowly flex my hips forwards. But now what I'm stretching are these inside muscles, our adductor or our groin muscles. Why is this a muscle that we want to stretch? Well, the adductors work almost oppositely to our glute muscles, and glutes have a huge impact on our lower back. So what I tend to find is that if we have a dysfunction in the glutes, it's really worth addressing those groins as well. So that's our hamstrings and our groins. Now, the next one that we can look to get to, as I've just mentioned, are our glutes. Our glutes, I have this phrase, this expression, if you follow my content, you may have heard me say before, our back hurts, but it's the butt's fault. Our glute muscles are our most powerful set of muscles, and they come in and attach and fix onto the lower back. So if we develop dysfunction in these, I tend to find them to be a huge cause for lower back pain. So how do we stretch from this position? Well, what we look to do is go into what we often term a pigeon stretch, where we just place our leg in front of us. So I bring the leg across my body, and again, I look to flex those hips until I feel that pull at my hip. And I'm holding that for 30 seconds, just easing into that stretch. Once I come out of that stretch, so bear in mind, we've covered our hamstrings, we've covered our groins, we've covered our glutes. Now, a next key one for us to be doing is our hip flexors. So why are our hip flexors a problem? I know what people ask me a lot of the time is the hip flexors, they live on the front of our hips here. So how can they be affecting our back? Well, the hip flexor muscles, yes, they're on the front of my hip here, but they actually come up and they attach onto the vertebrae of my lumbar spine. So if we imagine ripping my stomach away, that would reveal my spine, my spinal column. What's happening is these muscles actually come and attach onto the front of those vertebrae. So if we're getting tight and dysfunctional in this area, then no wonder we're going to get pain in our lower back. So into this position, nice and easy, all we look to do is rock forwards. From this position, I bring my hands up over my head and I tip my chest backwards. So I'm pulling those muscles apart here, those origins and insertions of those muscles, and you should feel that one. Whilst our 3 previous stretches have been from the right hand side, this one I'm hitting the left hand hip flexor. So I'm into that position and I'm looking to hold that for 30 seconds. Then the final muscle that we want to stretch, a real big player when it comes to lower back pain, what we call your Quadratus Lumborum. This is a square-shaped muscle living in your lower back. It runs from the top of your pelvis to your lowest rib. But the key factor is it also hangs on to each of those lumbar vertebrae. So if we're developing tightness, soreness in that QL muscle, it's going to be pulling on our spine and causing some pain. So how do I stretch this? Well, if I've got my left knee down, I'm going to stretch my left QL. I take my hands above my head and I tip off to the side. As I go through that motion, I just hold that position. And what we should be feeling, because we fixed our pelvis down, we're pulling the top rib away, so that's pulling our origin away from the insertion, and you should feel a stretch in the small of your back. Again, hold it for 30 seconds. So what have we done there? Well, in 2.5 minutes worth of stretching, we've stretched our right hamstring, our right groin, our right glutes, our left hip flexor and our left QL. But what about the other side? Well, nice and simply, all we do is swap over and repeat that process. The result, 5 minutes worth of stretching, but we have stretched out 5 key players in our lower back pain. So a reminder, that's our glutes, our hip flexors, our hamstrings, our adductors or our groin muscle, and the big QL problematic muscle that we have in our lower back. So let me know, has that been helpful for you? Have you always stretched all of these for your lower back, or have you learned something from this video? If you've learned something, then do me a quick favour and smash that like button, or drop a comment in. Let me know the one that you found to be most helpful for your lower back pain. But before you dive away, I mentioned that in order for stretching to actually be helping in terms of pain and pain management, we need to know that we're actually tight in those areas in the first place. Yes, stretching is helpful for maintenance, but it's really good to know the areas that you might have a lack of flexibility in order that you can dress more of your time. So what I've done here is link to a video where you can be shown by me how to assess your own flexibility. And whilst you're there, why not whack my face over there and subscribe? Look forward to seeing you on the next one.